English students, this is Mrs. Peacock, and at this point we need to talk about the research paper. A research paper requires outside sources of information, so that could be books, articles, videos, interviews, etc., to fully argue a stance on a particular topic. I'm not too concerned about the type of source you find as far as if it's a book or article or online resource, but I mainly want you guys to check out your reliability of the source. So check to see who published it, who the author is, and the credentials of the author. And if you're not sure if a source is reliable or academic, feel free to ask me. You can always email me a link to the website or a description of the source, and I'll let you know if it's reliable enough to use. But you're using this source to fully argue a stance on a particular topic. Every source that is utilized must have both an in-text citation attached to the sentence that has the source's information. So say if you quote from the source, Bowden 45 might be at the end of it, and that would be just the author's last name and the page number that the quote came from. But you'll also include in-text citations for any information you reword into your own words. Essentially, if you read the sentence and you didn't know the information before you began researching, put the in-text citation. So you'll have the in-text citation at the end of the sentence, and you'll have a citation on the works cited page. This research paper must include at least 2 outside sources. That's just the minimum. Of course, if you find 3 or 4 or 5 outside sources, feel free to use more, but 2 is the minimum. So at this point, we're going to take a look at your Siegel textbook, and I'm going to show you an example of an in-text citation. So page 154 has a really good example of how an in-text citation should look. Notice this source came from McCullough, is the author's last name, and page 18. So you could put the author at the beginning of the sentence and the page number at the end, or also you could do the author and page number at the end. But there's examples in here of how to do in-text citations for so many different types of sources. I'm going to turn your attention to the page 156, author unknown. Unfortunately, a lot of websites do not list authors, and so if you cannot find the author of a website, put the title of the article. In this example, it's Every Patient's Nightmare, but that's how it'll look in the in-text citation if you cannot find the author. Of course, if you can find the author, list the author instead. So that's an example of in-text citations. And then this is an example of a works cited page. So notice it's the last page of your paper. So say if your paper is 3 pages long, it would be at the top of the 4th page. Notice that there's a title called works cited that's centered, and you have finished citations. A works cited page is not a list of just internet links. You will be counted off if you just turn in website links. If you're not sure how to cite a source, your book in this green section, that's the MLA section, has examples for how to cite every kind of source. But one of the most common sources that you guys use is a website. So page 182 has how to cite a work on a website. But I'm also going to show you guys how to find resources that are academic sources using your Wallace page. So on the Wallace website, just wallace.edu, if you go to Campus Life and Resources, and then go to Library. And once you get to the library page, scroll down and go to LRC databases. Databases are just a collection of articles and resources that have been peer-reviewed, and that means that they're all academic. Alabama Virtual Library is a really good resource to check out. You may have to log in to use it, and the login is just the same thing you use to get into Blackboard in your email. Once you get into AVL, click College and University, and then you can scroll down. And EBSCOhost is a really good one to check out. Right here, EBSCOhost. If you click into it, you can search here for whatever you decide to research. This is an open topic research paper, which is fantastic because you guys get to choose the topic you genuinely want to know more about. Of course, I'm partial to William Shakespeare, so I'm going to do an example search for him. And see here we have, of course, so many resources about Shakespeare, but I'm just going to choose an article just to show you how this looks. To see the full article, you just click HTML full text, and this has your article for you. But on EBSCOhost, they have this thing called a cite tool, Just click Cite, and you can scroll down to MLA and use this example in your works cited page. Also notice whatever starts the citation is what goes in that in text, the parentheses at the end of the sentence. So this example would have day in the parentheses. Another really good one to check out other than EBSCOhost is Gale Power Search. Gale Power Search has a lot of information about so many different topics as well, so I would definitely recommend checking out Gale Power Search. And I'm going to show you how this works. So I'm going to do the same search term in there as well. So if I search William Shakespeare, I'm just going to go with the very first one just to show you how this looks. So notice they've got the information here about the sonnet. The citation tool here is at the bottom of the page. Instead of clicking that word cite and go with MLA 9th edition, you can copy and paste this into your works cited. And your in text for this would be Eubank in parentheses, just to give credit to Eubank for publishing this information. But those are really good sources to check out. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up that you do have access to those databases. The rough draft is going to be due Wednesday, October 25th by midnight in discussions. Just like we did for your first essay, you'll have peer review for this one as well on those rough drafts. And I recommend using the peers' feedback to revise your paper so that when you turn in your final draft, it'll be ready for me to grade. Your final draft is due Wednesday, November 1st by midnight in the Week 8 content folder. This paper is worth 30% of your final grade. It is by far the largest percentage of your semester's papers, but it's the longest paper you're going to need to write. Research papers should be at least 1,000 words in length, and that does count that works cited page as well, and those in-text citations. For formatting, it's 12-point Times New Roman font, double space with MLA heading and style. That is exactly how your first essay was. The only difference in this essay is that you must have this works cited page. Page 199 is a really good example to use as a guide, essentially, for what a works cited page should look like. Notice it is double spaced, and your citations have the hanging indent, which just means those second and third lines are indented. So you must have a works cited page. It's not a research paper without a works cited page. And notice those citations were complete citations, not just copied and pasted website links. As always, there's a final draft late submission rule, which is 10 points off every day late. So make sure you turn in those final drafts on time. And all of your final drafts will be graded using the English 101 grading rubric that's on the Getting Started page of Blackboard. And it will be scanned with anti-plagiarism software, and that's all the more important for a paper like this where you are using outside sources. Make sure every time you pull information from an outside source that you include that in-text citation, which is just the parentheses, that bound in 45 at the top is how it would look at the end of the sentence, and a works cited citation. If you're not sure how to cite a source, please email me. I'm happy to point out in the textbook an example for you to use as a guide. I'll even send you website links to give you extra assistance. Also, don't forget we have a writing center with tutors that can tutor you on this research paper, any step of this writing process. So definitely take full advantage of those writing center tutorials. They can tutor in person or online, and they're happy to help you as well. Please let me know if you have any questions. I know research papers can be pretty daunting, but I'm here to assist you in any way that you need. Thanks. Bye.